everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Divine Masculine Guidance. Welcome if you're new. My name is Sarah Walsh, and I am an intuitive life coach and a Holy Fire Reiki Master. So today I'm doing a card reading for the new moon in Virgo, which happens Thursday, September 17th, which for me is tomorrow. I forgot to look up what time, I was supposed to look up what time it was happening, but I forgot. So I have no idea what time it's happening, but it doesn't really matter because it's like I've said in a previous video, is the energy just kind of like slowly waxes and wanes with the moon. So it's not like a sudden energy or anything like that. So anyway, I did want to mention that I've changed the content on my channel a little bit in that I'm only going to be doing card readings, 3 card readings a month and 1 light language a month. Those are the only videos I'm going to do because people aren't really watching the other videos, the more educational videos. I guess that's how I would classify them, which is kind of disappointing to me because that was the whole, that was like the meat of my channel was going to be those. But if people aren't really interested in them, then I'm not gonna, I don't know. It's kind of a lot of work to do those. Anyway. I'm happy to do the card readings in the light language. So I'll be doing 1 video a week. So I will be doing a card reading for the new moon, a card reading for the full moon, and a card reading for when the sun moves into the next zodiac sign for that following month time period. And then on the week where there isn't one of those readings, I'm going to do, that's when I'm going to do a light language video. So yeah, anyway. Let me know in the comments what kind of videos you like to see from me. If you have any suggestions or any opinions or whatever, just let me know. So I'm going to be showing some cards from this deck. This is called the Moonology deck. And so each time I do a reading for one of the moons, I'm going to pull the cards out that correspond to that and just show them to you and read. So this one is A New Start is Coming. Oh, if you can see, this light is, I'm using a different light. It has even more glare than my last light, but okay. Okay, anyway, it's new moon, a new start is coming. And new moons are good for setting intentions for the following month. And it can be helpful to look at the energy of the sign that the moon is in. So this one is in Virgo. Virgo is an earth sign, very grounded, good attention to detail, paying attention to the physical world, things in your physical environment. Virgo is very nurturing. The more negative side of Virgo would be being hypercritical, being a hypochondriac, being kind of just critical of self and others. So if you find yourself showing those kind of tendencies, just maybe be aware of it, and that can help you overcome it. But like I said, the positive sides, good attention to detail. Yeah. So anyway, and then the new moon is, like I said, it's a good time for setting intentions for the next 2 weeks or the next month, really, ahead. Hopefully, maybe if you watch my last video about the full moon, and I said that that's a good time for releasing things, taking stock of your life and looking at things that might need releasing or things, that you need to let go of. Things that might be not in your best interest or the healthiest for you, and letting those go. So if you did that, then hopefully you've made room in your life for the new to come in, and that's always exciting. So the new moon is always a very auspicious time of the month anyway. And then I have here, got the card for new moon in Virgo. What does it say? A time to give rather than take. So Virgo is a sign of service. It rules the 6th house. The 6th house, which is the house of service, work, health. But yeah, Virgos are very much like to help other people. So that's another part of the energy be aware of. I should have. So it says some meanings for this card can mean gradual improvements are coming. Pay attention to detail if you want success. Be of service to others, and love and money will follow. So, yeah. And then it's a mutable moon. Nothing is yet set in stone. Mutable, Virgo is a mutable sign. There are three different kinds of signs: mutable, cardinal, and fixed. And so the mutable signs are a little bit more flexible, sometimes easily influenced by others, more go with the flow, I would say. So it's a mutable moon. Nothing is yet set in stone. And then we have, this is also a supermoon. It's considered a supermoon because it's a supermoon when it's like extra close to Earth when it's happening or something. So even though it's a new moon and it's dark, we can't really see it. It's a supermoon because it's closer to Earth. And it says emotions are running high. So maybe this will be more of an emotional time, or the emotions and the energies will be amplified more than usual. Okay, so that's those cards. And then I'm going to do the reading with 4 decks. The Spirit Animal Oracle, which I've shown you before. Those are these cards. I'm just going to pull one. I think I'm just going to pull one of these cards for like an overall theme for the reading. And then I have the traditional Rider-Waite. 2 of Cups. I did not even do that on purpose. And then this one I haven't used before. This one I haven't really used much at all, even on my own. It's called The Psychic Tarot for the Heart by John Holland. It's the traditional tarot, but he's got like his own like twist on it and stuff. And I don't even understand what some of the cards are, which is probably why I don't really use it that often. But because I don't have all the major arcana and memorized as to what their numbers are. And anyway, it can get a little confusing, but I'm just going to go with it. And then this oracle deck, which is called Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. She's also the one who did the Spirit Animal Oracle. And I believe she's the one who did the Mystical Shaman Oracle, which I've used in previous readings. So, yeah, I'm just going to do that. So I'm going to shuffle and pull the cards on camera this time. I know the last 2 times I have already pulled the cards and then before I started recording, which worked well, but I thought, well, maybe people would rather I shuffle on screen. So if you have an opinion of if you like me to shuffle and get the messages and watch me get the messages right then, let me know. If you don't like the shuffling and you like it better when I pull the cards ahead of time and sit with the cards for a little while and get the messages ahead of time, let me know that too. So I'm going to start with the Animal Oracle. So I'm just going to do like one of these kind of shuffles. And then I'm going to do this kind to get the cards to come out. Okay, there we go. That was fast. And we got number 40, Mouse Spirit, tend to the small things, which is so perfect for Virgo. Oh, I love it. So I said, Virgo is attention to details. So that's what this card would say. So that's nice. Number 40 also breaks down in numerology to a 4, which would be a number of stable foundations and balance. So maybe keeping that in mind for the reading. I'm going to do these next. The Wisdom of the Oracle cards. Here we go. All right, I'm going to take three from each of these other decks. I'll try to get 3. Sometimes you don't get what you want, but you get what you need. And now I'm singing that song in my head. See, this is why I like pulling the cards ahead of time. Even though both of the times I did that, I wasn't intending to pull cards ahead of time. But it just so happened that I pulled the cards during my personal reading and realized they were the collective reading. But I deliberately didn't want that to happen this time because I was like, no, I'm going to shuffle on camera again. And then ask people, you know, which way they prefer or see which way I prefer. And I prefer to get the cards ahead of time. That's for sure. Just because... Oh, I got 2 of them here. Okay. Oh. Okay. That's interesting. Conflicting kind of a message there. I'll show you the cards as soon as I get one more. Come on. There we go. Okay. I feel like this is a personal message for me. All right. Okay. The first one I got was 41 soulmates. See, there's penguins and hearts. One of the penguins has a key. All right. And then number 6, not for you. I hope those 2 cards don't go together. It's got a fortune cookie, and the fortune says nope. And then it's on a chessboard, which is interesting. I haven't used these cards much either, so I'm not really too familiar with them. There's a hand holding up the chessboard. This is interesting. Okay, and then 24, time for a nap. That's like the story of my life lately. Yeah, I think I'll just take a nap. Nothing else to do. Okay. So, now I'm going to pull from here. See if I can get some messages from these cards. Okay. Oh, come on. That is. Oh, I don't know what card that is. 18. It's the 18 card. Okay. I don't know. Now it's going to bug me because I don't know which card of the traditional tarot this one is. It's number 18 of the Major Arcana. And it says confront. I have to look that up because it's going to bug me. Oh, it's going to bug me. Okay, that one. Okay, so we got 13 of the Major Arcana release, which is the death card in the traditional tarot, which does not mean death, like actual death. Usually it doesn't. It means letting something die off so that it can be reborn. And it says release. So maybe releasing things. And then this is number 18, Confront, which is also a Major Arcana card, and I don't know which card the number 18 card is. So I'm going to look that up quick. Confront. I think he has interesting interpretations of the cards. Like for death, to interpret death as release. I mean, I get it, I guess. I would more think of it as like rebirth or something, but, and then we have 5 of, what is this? 5 of Pentacles, change your focus. We've had the 5 of Pentacles in a reading before, one of my readings. If you remember, I had like a woman sitting here and she was like, had her head in her hands and she was like, seemed really dejected and, like she was being excluded or locked out of someplace. I think that's the 5 of Pentacles. Now I'm gonna look up these 2 cards anyway. Get the book out. Oh no, that's the 5 of Cups. Sorry. So this is the 5 of Cups, which normally shows in the traditional tarot, it shows a man who is looking sad and he's looking down at these 3 cups that are tipped over. But he doesn't realize that there are 2 cups that are still full and standing up behind him. And he's just fixated on the ones that have already been knocked over and been spilled. So that this makes sense then, right? It's more of like, stop looking at the negative things in your life and focus on the positives more. Which doesn't mean deny the negative things in your life. If there are things in your life that are not how you would like them to be, you don't have to just pretend like it's not like that or ignore them. It's okay to acknowledge them and to feel how you feel about it. But just don't like dwell on it and try to change your focus then. Try to look at the bright side, or maybe look for the lesson in the situation. Okay, now I'm going to see what that number 18 card is. Oh, it's the moon. Okay, it's got a moon on it. That makes sense, but I didn't know. Okay, so this is the equivalent to the moon card in the traditional tarot. See, there's a moon. And this is the new moon reading. Okay, I got a message from that, but I'm going to wait till I get all the cards before I give any more messages. All right, and our last deck, the Rider-Waite. Hope I can get 3 of these. Okay, so from this deck we got the 5 of Wands. See, like there's a group of, I think they're all boys, who are kind of fighting each other with their wands. So sometimes you can interpret that as like they're play fighting, like they're playing, having a play battle, like kids do sometimes, or sometimes it's seen as just like conflict or struggle. Like people battling each other. Okay, and then we have the 9 of Wands. This is the Wounded Warrior card. That's what I call it. Which I got from somebody else, I'm sure. But see the guy here, he's like beat up. He's got a bandage on his head and he's looking pretty beat up and like he's just about out of steam, but he's still standing. So he's been through the battle, but he's still standing. But he's like holding on to that wand for support to hold him up. And he's looking out, I think he's looking out trying to see like, when is this war going to be over? Like, when do I get to sit down and lay down and rest? It's just funny because I have like time for a nap. So maybe the message there, well, I'll show you this card first. So then we have the, also the 10 of Wands. So we have the 5 of Wands, the 9 of Wands, and the 10 of Wands. Wands are passion. Fire. Like motivation and drive. But they can also be, you know, you can get burned out. So the message I'm getting from these cards then is that, okay. All right, yeah. We got the the Five of Wands, the Nine of Wands, the Ten of Wands. Here's the battle. Here's the struggle. Here's the conflict. Here's the fight, whatever it is. And then here's the main character, which would be you, or maybe somebody else, who's like had enough of that. This person's like, ugh, I'm just gonna stand over here now and take a breather. I don't want to be a part of that anymore. I decided I'm done. And then the Ten of Wands would be that, like, the message for this is usually, right, you're almost there, you're almost at the finish line, and it's almost time to drop your heavy burden and to be free of it, to be done. So, and then with that time for a nap card in there too, the message I'm getting is maybe it's time to just be done with that, whatever it is. If you're in a situation where it just feels like you're constantly fighting with people, or not seeing eye to eye with people, or having to defend yourself, where you feel just like trapped in something, and it's just like a fight, it's just like a battle, it's just like a struggle that maybe it's time for a timeout and to reassess the situation. And to, maybe it's time to be done. Maybe it's time to be done with that battle altogether, whatever that is. Whatever that situation is you might be in that you're struggling with. Maybe there's some way you can just decide to let it go now. So, and then the confront card. So maybe with that message too, in this card saying confront, maybe you have to confront somebody. You know, maybe you've been in a situation that has been troublesome in some way, that is not serving you in your happiness and your highest good, but you've had to deal with it for whatever reason, and you've gotten to the point now that maybe you're realizing, I don't really have to be in this situation anymore. Like, it served its purpose, and I've done this long enough, and maybe I've learned the lessons I needed to learn from it, and it's time to move on. And maybe you need to confront somebody and be brave a little bit. Maybe you have to, maybe it's going to feel scary. It's going to feel scary to stand up for yourself, but this would be telling me that that's a good thing for you to do. Because sometimes in life you have to do things that are scary. And sometimes you have to do things that you know other people aren't going to like. But it's for your highest good, and your priority should be yourself. I always say that. Maybe I've said that before in one of these videos, but unless you have kids, you have to put your kids before yourself. I mean, you still have to do self-care as a parent. You have to take care of yourself so that you're able to take care of your kids. But sometimes you have to sacrifice what you want for your kids' highest good. But other than that, your highest good should be your priority. Nobody else's. So sometimes you have to do things that are the best for you, and they're going to be disappointing to somebody that maybe you care about, or just you don't. Like for me, I don't like disappointing people. I'm sort of a people pleaser, although I have good boundaries, so it hasn't been too much of a problem for me. But I've noticed that, like, with my family, I will sometimes make exceptions and let things slide and just say, okay, I'll do it, even if I don't want to, if they want, if somebody else wants me to do it. But yeah, I'm kind of learning that I don't have to do that. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. And other people can just deal with it. That might sound kind of heartless. I don't mean it. It's not a heartless way. It's always with love, but it's like I love myself first. And I'm not going to just do things. unless I feel guided to do it, unless I really want to do it, even if it's something I don't want to do, but if I want to do it for the other person, you know, I'll still do things for other people. But I just noticed that I will give a lot to people who don't give anything back in return, which I never give with the thought of like, I'm going to get something back in return, because I just give from my heart. I really do. But after, you know, years or whatever, like dealing with people and realizing, hey, I'm the one who's always doing things for this other person, and this other person isn't ever really doing anything for me. And I'm not really okay with that anymore. So I'm not going to go out of my way to keep helping those people. You know, and it's not that I don't love them, it's just I love myself more. Or I love myself first, I should say. Not necessarily more. Okay, what other messages am I going to get from this here? Oh, this card too is also bringing up for me, you can see like it's this guy and he's looking, here it looks like it's a child who's in the shadows. So I'm getting the feeling that this is him as a little boy, which to me would say very much strongly as maybe somebody out there needs to do some inner child work. Everybody has an inner child, even if you don't think you do, you do. You carry, when we're a child, those are our formative years. That's where we learn everything. That's where we learn about the world, we learn about ourselves, we learn about our families. That's where we develop our sense of identity. So you always have that inside of you, and the things that happen to you as a child, you carry with you forever. And sometimes they're good things, and sometimes they're not so good things. And doing inner child work is just looking back to, well, some part of it can be you're looking back to your childhood and the things that you were told and things that you were taught and the belief systems you were given, maybe from religion or just your culture or whatever. Looking back at those and reevaluating them and seeing if, first of all, you can say, are these even true? Because a lot of the stuff we pick up as a child, like it's not even true. But it was somebody else's perception of things or somebody else's wounding. A lot of times a parent has their own wounding and then they pass that on to their child. Or like negative belief systems or things like that. So some part of inner child work can be reevaluating the things you were told to decide for yourself if you think they're true. Or maybe they're just not serving you. Maybe they're holding you back from your fullest potential. And it's time maybe to let those go. Another kind of inner child work is you can think back about maybe a negative experience you had as a child, and in your mind, using your imagination, imagine yourself going back in time to that time and seeing yourself as you being the parent to that child and giving that child what he or she needed and didn't get at that time. So basically reparenting your inner child. You go back and you give yourself what you needed as a child that you didn't get. And you can do that with your imagination, and it seems a little silly, kind of, because it's like, well, obviously that doesn't actually go back in time and change things. But all that matters right now is like the memory exists in your mind. The memory of that exists in your mind. That's the only place it exists anymore, really. Well, you could look at it as everything is happening in the now moment, so you could actually go back in time. But anyway, that's a little deep. So the more you can think of it as like that memory only exists in your mind anyway. That's all that matters. And if it's still affecting you subconsciously now, all you have to do is go back in and kind of like overwrite that memory, like rewrite it in your mind, and then it'll change how it is affecting your life. And it might not affect your life in a negative way anymore. And then the other thing about inner child work would be being aware that you have an inner child and paying attention to your inner child, and sometimes letting your inner child have a voice and have a say, and listening to what your inner child is saying to you. Like, what does your inner child like to do? Like for me, when I was a kid, I loved to paint with watercolors. So I took that up when I got divorced. I took that back up after all these years. And I mean, I'm not trained or anything. I just do it for fun because my inner child loves to paint. So my inner child loves to swing. So sometimes I'll sit outside in my hammock and swing in my hammock. And that's taking care of my inner child and kind of bringing some fun and some play and some joy back into my life. So okay, so with the 13 release, which is the Death card, and then the 10 of Wands, and the Not For You card, these three cards together, I'm getting the message, which I think I kind of touched on with the bottom cards there, but is that maybe it's time to release the burdens. It's time to drop the burdens of something. Like I said, if there's like a situation you're in that you don't want to be in, or a relationship you're in that maybe isn't serving you, and you maybe don't want to be in that relationship anymore, or some kind of dynamic, that maybe it's not for you anymore. You know, maybe it was for you up until now, or for some reason it was in your life, right? It was serving some kind of purpose for you. And that maybe this is the time to let it go. Which would be a lot more of like full moon energy. And this is a new moon reading, but this is the message I'm getting, so someone needs to hear it, maybe. Yeah. Like maybe these burdens you're carrying aren't yours to carry anymore. Maybe they weren't yours to carry ever in the first place, but you were carrying them anyway, out of obligation. Or to please other people. Or because you didn't want to start conflict. But, you know, maybe you really need to look at that and realize you can be free of pretty much anything. You don't really have to carry any burdens. I mean, there's always burdens in life, right? But I don't know, sometimes you get to a place and you do enough soul searching and healing and thinking about it and realizing like you just want to be free. You know, like you have a weight on your chest and you just want to be able to breathe again. That's how I felt when I decided to get divorced. I didn't even realize, obviously part of me realized how suffocated I was feeling in that marriage, in that relationship. But I didn't even really fully realize it until I freed myself from it. And then it was like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders, and it was like I could finally breathe again. And it felt so good. I could finally be myself. I could be whoever I wanted to be. I didn't have to think about, oh, what is he going to think about me saying this? Or what is he going to think about if I do this? And I was free. And I was like, it was very hard to do that. It's hard to untangle yourself from a marriage or a relationship like that when your lives have been joined like that. But it can be done, and it was worth it. Life hasn't been easy since then, but I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't go back, that's for sure. Okay, I couldn't quite figure out what this card was. I couldn't quite figure out what message I was supposed to be getting from this card, but I just got the message. So, like after you go through a big struggle or go through a big life change that's difficult, you know, maybe it just takes a lot of courage to make a change or to make some kind of decision, to make some kind of move in your life. When you're, you know, when you've been through the battle and you're, you know, you're like standing there, but you're like really beat up from it, and you're like, oh, when is this gonna be over? And you finally get to the place where it's time to drop the burden and to just let it go, and you do what you need to do in order to do that, to get yourself out of the situation that's not serving you. Then you can, it's time, then it's time to, then you can rest. You know, it's like this wounded warrior can finally sit down instead of having to stand there like not quite done with the battle, like really wanting it to be over, and then the battle's over. And then you've done what you need to do. You've made the hard decisions and you've done the work and done the things you need to do to free yourself. And then you can breathe and you can take a break. You can rest. You know, you can just pause for a little while and catch your breath. And this message was, do you see how, like this one here is like tucking its head onto this one's chest, and this one's kind of like comforting it. And it's called soulmate. So it's like maybe there'll be a soulmate. Maybe there's a soulmate in your life, like a best friend or a partner or a family member. A soulmate can be anybody. Soulmates don't have to be romantic. They can be romantic, but they don't have to be. And so maybe there's one person who's kind of like your safe place, who will kind of take you under their wing, you know, to comfort you while you're taking your nap, while you're having your break and taking and catching your breath again. Maybe there's somebody there who can kind of protect you in a way, or at least like hold space for you so that you can have a safe space to feel what you're feeling and to be able to let your guard down and just rest after battling so hard and after working so hard. And then there's somebody who, you know, who's gonna be there for you to support you. And so maybe like keeping that in mind if you're in that place of like thinking of who could be your person right now. Yeah. So and one more message I'm getting is the change your focus card. And I was saying how that's like change your focus, like don't look at the negative things so much, you know, try to focus on the positive. Don't ignore the negative things. Don't ignore any negative feelings that come up, or negative things in your life. Don't ignore them. Face them. Be brave to face them and feel them. But also then don't wallow in it, and eventually just maybe try to look at the positive. Try to look at the lessons. Because every negative situation has a lesson for you. That's why you're experiencing it. But I had a different message from this. What was it? Oh, I forgot already. Oh, I know what it is. So if you're in a difficult situation, and you realize you're in a situation that isn't serving your highest good, and maybe you've been in it for a long time and you just feel like you don't see a way out of it, you don't know how to get out of it, you feel stuck in it or whatever, this card is saying to me, instead of looking at all the reasons why you can't get out of it, look at all of the ways that you can get out of it. Like, so changing your focus from I'm stuck in this, there's nothing I can do about it, to taking your power back and saying, you know, I have authority over my own life and I can do anything. I can do anything I want. So I can get out of this situation if I really want to. Yeah. Okay. So those are the messages that I got from this reading. Let me know, like I said, let me know in the comments if any of it resonated with you, or if you liked me pulling the cards on camera better, or if you like it when I pull the cards ahead of time. And because when I pull the cards ahead of time, what happened was I would get the cards in the morning, and then I would just bring them out here and let them sit and didn't look at them again. But then, like in the time in between pulling the cards in the morning and then recording the video, usually like in the afternoon, I would get messages downloaded to me throughout the time about the cards. So I would come into the reading. A, you didn't have to watch me shuffle, and B, I already came in like with some messages, a little like fleshed out a little bit. But you know, let me know in the comments which way you prefer. I prefer doing it the other way, but I don't know if people like to see the shuffling and see that these cards are coming out, but I feel a little bit more like it's harder for me to get fully developed messages like right on the spot like that as much. But hopefully I did okay, and hopefully there was something that resonated with you. Let me know if there was. And thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week for, I think next week is going to be the Sun in Libra card reading video. So if you would like to work with me, you can send me an email. I'll put that down below in the description box, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.